Today we think nothing of sitting down in a chair. It's an ordinary act so ordinary we forget that for most of human history, the chair was a symbol of divine privilege. For thousands of years, to sit in an elevated seat was to rule. The humble chair began not as a household object, but as a throne. The earliest known chairs come from ancient Egypt, around 2600 BCE. They were crafted from ebony, ivory, and gold, often decorated with animal legs and inlays. These weren't meant for comfort. They were status symbols, used only by pharaohs, nobles, and high priests. Everyone else sat on stools, mats, or the floor. Sitting in a chair meant being above others, physically and socially. In tomb paintings and carvings, pharaohs are always shown seated, their subjects kneeling or standing before them.
Ow.
The chair was a miniature stage for power. This idea spread through the ancient world. Mesopotamia, rulers and gods were depicted on elaborately carved seats. The Greeks and Romans continued the tradition. Magistrates sat on curule chairs, folding ivory thrones symbolizing their authority. Even the Latin word cathedra, meaning seat, became the root of cathedral, the church that holds a bishop's official chair. To take the chair meant to assume command, a phrase that still echoes today in chairperson or chair of the board. In China, the story took a slightly different path. Early Chinese culture favored mats and low stools. But by the Tang dynasty's 7th century CE, the elevated chair became a sign of refined etiquette. Foreign influences from Central Asia brought high-seated furniture into Chinese courts, where it soon became a marker of elegance and hierarchy. To sit cross-legged on the floor, once perfectly acceptable, began to seem barbaric. By the Ming dynasty, chairs had become symbols of both authority and civility, appearing in portraits of scholars and emperors alike. In medieval Europe, chairs remained rare outside royal or ecclesiastical circles. Kings had thrones, bishops had cathedras, and everyone else sat on benches or stools. In wealthy households, a single chair might exist for the patriarch, while others sat on chests or simple planks. It wasn't until the Renaissance, when craftsmanship flourished and furniture became an art form, that the chair began to multiply. Even then, it remained an emblem of hierarchy. The more ornate the chair, the greater the rank of the person who used it. Only with the Industrial Revolution did the chair finally become democratic. Mass production made it possible for ordinary homes to have multiple chairs, each designed for function rather than status. Dining chairs, rocking chairs, office chairs. What had once represented divine authority became an everyday convenience, yet the language of power persisted. Presidents still take the chair, professors hold a chair. The seat remains a metaphor for control, from parliaments to classrooms. The evolution of the chair also mirrors the evolution of society, from rigid hierarchy to relative equality. Where once the right to sit was reserved for rulers, now comfort is universal. But even in modern design, echoes of royalty remain. A high-backed armchair still commands attention. The swivel chair, born in the age of bureaucracy, signals authority. Some chairs, of course, still carry their ancient symbolism. The papal throne, the coronation chair of British monarchs, and the speaker's chair in parliaments all descend directly from the thrones of antiquity. To sit in them is to inherit centuries of tradition, power, and ritual. In the end, the story of the chair is the story of civilization learning to elevate itself, literally. What began as a golden platform for kings became a wooden seat for everyone. Each chair we pull up today is a quiet heir to a royal lineage, a descendant of the throne that once ruled the world.